wondering about you. It may sound impossible, but it is not. Indifference is not permanent. It is a reaction. And once you understand how that reaction works, you can change how a woman experiences you completely. Before you dismiss this idea, take a moment to listen. Making a woman miss you has nothing to do with chasing her, begging for attention, or proving your worth. In fact, those behaviors destroy attraction faster than almost anything else. Women do not respect men who try too hard to earn approval. What actually makes a woman miss a man is often the opposite of what most men do. It is not about being constantly present. It is about being memorable. When you understand this, you realize that attraction is not created by effort alone. It is created by emotional impact. A man who knows how to spark curiosity, earn respect, and create space becomes someone a woman thinks about without trying. Here is something most men struggle to accept. The harder you chase a woman, the faster she pulls away. Chasing feels natural. You like her, so you show interest, increase effort, and try to convince her that you are worth choosing. But psychologically, this approach almost always backfires. Chasing flips the power balance. Instead of her feeling lucky to have your attention, she sees you as the one seeking hers. And no one misses something they already get too much of. When you are always texting, calling, checking in, or trying to impress her, you remove the need for her to think about you. You make yourself emotionally over-available. And when something is always available, it loses value. Think about it this way. When someone gives you the same thing every day without effort, you stop valuing it. But when it suddenly disappears, you notice the absence. Attraction works the same way. Women do not miss men who chase nonstop. They miss men who know how to step back and create space. That space allows curiosity to grow. There is another layer most men overlook. Chasing sends a quiet message of insecurity. It tells her you do not fully believe in your own value, so you try to prove it. Insecurity drains attraction quickly. Women are drawn to men who respect their own time, who have their own lives, and who are not desperate for attention. If you want a woman, even one who seemed uninterested, to start missing you, the first step is simple. Stop chasing. Step back, create distance. Let her feel the difference when you are no longer always there. That silence will say more than 100 messages ever could. Imagine this. You text a woman several times a day, and she replies with short, dry responses. Most men panic and increase effort. Instead, you stop texting for 2 days. In many cases, she starts wondering where you went. She checks your profile, she replays past conversations. Sometimes she even reaches out first. By not chasing, you gave her space to think. Many men believe constant communication builds attraction. They send good morning texts, check in all day, and say good night every night. It feels like effort, but it often leads to being taken for granted. When your words are always available, they lose impact. Silence carries weight. Silence creates tension. Silence gives her room to think. In female psychology, curiosity is more powerful than comfort. When you go quiet, questions start forming in her mind. Why is he not texting me? What is he doing? Who is he spending time with? That questioning is where missing begins. Attention is a form of currency. When you give it constantly, it feels cheap. When you hold it back slightly, it becomes valuable. This does not mean ignoring her or playing games. It means balance. It means showing that your life does not revolve around her replies. A man who does not need constant reassurance shows confidence and self-control. That is what makes her lean in emotionally. Sometimes the strongest message you can send is no message at all. Let silence do the work. If you have been talking daily and she suddenly takes longer to reply, most men panic. Instead, you pause. You say nothing for a full day. She notices the absence. She checks her phone expecting your name. That gap creates more emotional impact than any explanation ever could. Another mistake men make is believing constant availability will win her over. They cancel plans just in case she calls. They reply instantly. They make it clear they are always waiting. On the surface, it looks like dedication. In reality, it makes you predictable and forgettable. When you are always available, there is no excitement. When something is too easy to get, it loses value. Think about your own life. The things you wanted most were usually the hardest to get. The effort made them meaningful. The things handed to you without resistance rarely felt special for long. Attraction works the same way. Women are not drawn to men who revolve around them. They are drawn to men with direction, goals, and priorities. Men who sometimes say no. Men who do not drop everything for approval. Independence signals value. The more available you make yourself, the less reason she has to miss you. When you create space, she starts to feel your absence. Honesty matters, but too much honesty too early kills attraction. Many men think sharing everything builds closeness. In reality, it removes mystery. Attraction is emotional, not logical. Curiosity fuels emotion. When a woman does not fully know you, her mind fills in the gaps. She imagines, she wonders, she thinks about you. But when you explain everything, there is nothing left to imagine. Mystery creates value. Missing starts in the mind before it reaches the heart. Often it is not what you say, but what you leave unsaid. Many men compete for a woman's attention. They rush to react and outperform others. They believe louder effort will help them stand out. In reality, it signals weakness. Men who know their value do not compete. They attract. A confident man is not worried about who else is texting her. He is calm and unbothered. That calm confidence creates curiosity. Curiosity creates respect. Respect creates attraction. Attraction grows into missing, not through pressure, but through presence and restraint. When you move with calm certainty, you become unforgettable. And when you are unforgettable, even a woman who once ignored you may think about you when you are gone. Not men who ask or plead for attention. The moment you stop chasing and start living as if you are the prize, everything begins to change. Her way of seeing you shifts slowly but clearly. She starts to notice that your time has value, your energy is not unlimited, and your presence is not something she can take for granted. And suddenly she wants that presence more than before. That is how attraction truly works. So let this idea sink in deeply. If you are still struggling and fighting for a woman's attention, you are quietly telling her that she is above you, that she controls the situation, that she decides your value and importance. Change that mindset completely. You are the standard. You are the one whose attention carries weight. You are the one she should feel the need to impress. Confidence holds more power than love. And this truth feels uncomfortable for many men to accept. Women are not drawn in by love at the beginning. They are drawn in by confidence first. You can give her unlimited affection. You can send long messages filled with emotion. You can always be available whenever she calls. You can put her needs ahead of your own. But without confidence, none of these actions create real desire. Love without confidence feels heavy. It feels unsafe. It feels like pressure. And pressure slowly destroys attraction. Confidence, however, is quiet and strong at the same time. It does not need to prove anything. It does not beg to be noticed. It simply exists on its own. Real confidence is not loud or arrogant. It is calm and grounded. It is steady and controlled. It is shown in the way a man walks, the way he speaks, and the way he carries himself without constantly looking for approval. Think about this honestly for a moment. You have seen women choose men who were not the best looking or the kindest, yet they were chosen without hesitation. That happened because those men believed in themselves. Women are naturally drawn to confidence because it signals strength, emotional stability, and leadership. Love may make her feel comfortable and safe, but confidence makes her feel alive and excited. This is where most men become confused. They believe confidence comes from saying the right words at the right time. In reality, confidence is expressed through action. It is making decisions without fear of rejection. It is standing firm in your beliefs instead of changing who you are just to keep her satisfied. It is being willing to walk away when you are not respected or valued. That kind of confidence does not only attract women, it leaves a lasting impression that stays behind. Love without confidence slowly turns into dependency, and dependency pushes people away over time. Confidence remains in her thoughts long after you are gone. It echoes in her mind quietly. It is what makes her miss you, even when she tries not to think about you. Nothing makes a woman miss a man faster than the feeling that she might lose him. This is simple human psychology. People do not value what feels guaranteed and always available. They value what feels uncertain and rare. Too many men destroy attraction by making themselves constantly available even when they are not appreciated. When she knows you will always be there, regardless of how she treats you, there is no urgency, no curiosity, and no fear of loss. But when she senses that your attention is shifting, that your focus is no longer centered completely on her, something changes inside her. She begins asking questions she never asked before. Is he moving on with his life? Is someone else receiving his attention now? Did I make a mistake? That inner tension creates desire. This is not manipulation. This is self-respect. You are not pretending to pull away to play games. You are simply living your life without waiting for validation. You are showing that your world does not revolve around one person. You are showing that you are willing to walk away from situations that do not value you. And that realization is what makes her feel your absence. The silence suddenly becomes loud. The space between you becomes uncomfortable, and that discomfort slowly turns into longing. The lesson here is clear and simple. Stop making yourself a certainty. Stop being predictable in every situation. Be willing to leave when effort only comes from one side. Be willing to allow silence to exist without trying to fix it. Be willing to let her experience what life feels like without you present. That is when she begins to miss you deeply. Because nothing hurts more than realizing you lost someone who no longer wants to return. This truth may feel harsh, but it matters. Women do not miss the man who stays no matter how he is treated. They miss the man who respects himself enough to walk away. You can still be kind. You can still be loving. You can still be generous with your heart. But without boundaries, none of those qualities carry real value. Without space, there is no desire. Without self-respect, there is no attraction. The man who does not beg is the man who gets chased. The man who does not fear loss is the man who becomes unforgettable. Now take a moment and think about your own experiences. Think about the times when you tried harder and received less in return. Think about the moments when you pulled back and suddenly she leaned in closer. Those patterns are not random or accidental. They are psychological. They are human. If you have ever chased too much or noticed how silence changed everything, share your experience. This is not only about advice, this is about understanding.